This opening will change your life. It's called the Steiner Variation and it arises from the French defense. So you will be playing it as white, beginning with the move pawn to e4. After learning this, you will realize how just simple the French defense is to handle. Now I should mention to say this is, in my opinion, the most reliable and safest opening against the French that you can even consider even in serious games and other classical matches. So black will usually play pawn to e6 and then I propose you just go pawn to c4, known as the Steiner Variation, a counter-attacking option against the French. Now as always, most French players will play pawn to d5 in this position, after which you take. I want you to see how the eval bar is moving this side. After pawn takes, which is the top played move, for now I do not recommend to go queen b3. That's called the Orthoschnapp Gambit. Unless you just want to have a very quick game in blitz, rapid or bullet. But say you are playing a very serious game that matters the most, probably in a rated tournament, you want to go queen a4 check. This is not the Orthoschnapp, by the way. You should know the difference. Now the main area of my interest is this move, pawn to c6, which most people play. And in my last two videos about the Steiner Variation, if you remember, I recommended the move pawn takes. We'll look at that quickly. But today's solid move that I want to recommend is pawn to d3, this silent move. I would play this against someone very strong, and that's if I just want to stay calm and develop my pieces in harmony. You see, the opening that I'm about to recommend you guys is more of a setup, in that you will always be playing the same things over and over and there is nothing black can do to your soul. But before I proceed with this, just in case you missed it, after queen a4 check, if black plays bishop d7, you can simply go queen b3, eyeballing the b7 pawn and the d5 pawn. They take on e4, after which you go bishop c4, targeting the f7 pawn and the b7 pawn. The top played move is queen e7, indirectly eyeballing your king, after which you go queen takes b7. If bishop c6, you go queen c8 check. Only move queen d8, you go bishop takes f7 check. If king takes, you win the free queen. If king e7, you checkmate your opponent like this. This is just a quick recap, so I don't have time to explain or repeat content. Another possibility that you can try after queen a4 check and let's say black plays c6 is this. You first of all take, and after queen takes, don't rush with bishop c4. The key move first is knight f3. This stops queen e5 check. And note that black can't play queen e4 check due to queen takes. So they mostly play knight f6. Only then do you go bishop c4. Very important to remember, so that you force black's queen to stay in front of your queen indirectly. Now this is when you go king d1. Very important. And the point is, you want to pin the queen to the king. If bishop e7, which is the top played move, now you surprise your opponent like this. Pap, you sacrifice your bishop, and after king takes, you then go knight g5 check. This will win the queen. If they don't play bishop e7 and let's say they go pawn to b5, in this position you can still go bishop takes, knowing full and well that after king takes you still have knight g5 check. And if king g6, you first of all start with queen takes e4, and after knight takes you take back with your knight, emerging with a free pawn. So these are just some of the tricks to keep in mind when you are playing the Steiner Variation. But this is not what this video is all about. And another very common line that I did not cover in my last two videos is this, where black may play knight c6, covering the check. In the knight c6 line, a most straightforward move is to go bishop b5, and after bishop d7, at least you know you're going to win a free pawn temporarily, and this will just lead to an equal position, to be honest. People play knight e5 in this position, after which you remember to go queen b3. Of course, you can take and go queen b3, that's fine. But why queen b3? Let's just say you make a mistake like pawn to d4. Note that black can play knight d3 check, forcing you to lose your right to castle, or something like that, maybe attacking your dark squad bishop. You can't take because they are going to take your queen. So that's why pawn to d4 in this specific line is not really a good choice. So maybe you can take, then go queen b3, or just play queen b3 right away so that black doesn't have knight d3 check. And if knight f6 is played, that's when you can go pawn to d4. This is a more straightforward way of countering the knight c6 line. But another tricky move is to take with the pawn, allowing black to take with the queen, and just like before, we first of all play our first key move, knight f3, and if knight f6 again, this is when we go bishop c4. Black can't play queen e5 check because of our knight again, so they go queen e4 check, after which we put our king on d1. This line is suitable for rapid blitz and bullet. You want to pin the queen to the king, they play bishop e7, after which you initiate the same strategy of sacrificing your bishop on f7. By the way, first you can even go rook e1 in this position, but I mean, what are we doing? So bishop takes. To oversimplify things, if king takes, again you have knight g5, winning the queen. If they don't take the bishop, because they don't have to, and let's say they go king f8, you can just retreat your bishop back to c4 and move on with life. There's nothing much black can do. Again, in rapid and blitz, you can figure out what to do from here. This is not a losing position. In fact, after this, say if black plays something like bishop g4, developing a piece, you know, this is when you can go rook e1. Actually, rook e1, yeah, of course, there's nothing you could have done better. I mean, this is a dead piece. So after bishop takes, at least you have your bishop pair that you can work with. Pawn takes, check, and bishop e2. Your king is safe. Not that black doesn't have a right to castle as well. Their rooks are out of the game. Your pieces are also out of the game. It's just a matter of starting to develop your pieces. Queen takes, knight c3, queen takes, b4, knight takes, rook b1, and just like that, the game is back to equal, according to Stockfish, due to so many open lines. This is just a messy game, and you're already in the end game where you're supposed to start attacking like no man's business. You just start attacking anyhow, any way you like. f3 is also coming. So all this is for those who missed my last two videos on the Steiner Variation and the Orthoschnapp Gambit. Now it is time for us to look at our main setup for today, you guys. I'm calling this a setup and not an opening, and you will see why. After c6, my main recommendation for today is d3 if you just want to play it safe. And since I couldn't find any game in the master's database, allow me to call this Kaspa Mbulo's system. Mbulo is my surname, by the way, M-B-U-L-O. From here, let your king's knight go to f3, your last squad bishop to e2. Depending on the position, you can go bishop e3, intending to put that bishop on d4 in the near future, or bishop d2. Your queen's knight will be going to c3 to support the e4 pawn, and your queen's final destination in the opening will always be c2. So you'll be playing queen c2, and all up to you to decide whether you want to castle short or long, again depending on the position. This is all you will be doing regardless of what black does, and your opening is complete. Oh, let's see how this goes. After pawn to d3, black may take on e4, after which you take back. Our job will be to overprotect this pawn, so we'll be developing all of our pieces behind this pawn. Black may play knight f6 at this point. Up to you to go e5 if you don't mind, but there's no need to. From here, you can start with whichever move you like, such as knight c3, bishop e2, or even knight f3. But I love queen c2 because this also stops black from playing bishop c5 immediately. By the way, if queen e7, you have knight c3, bishop d2, just so many defenders, and even bishop g5. So they'll play something like bishop d6 if I'm not mistaken, also stopping pawn to e5, and now you can simply go knight f3, renewing the threat. I understand black may play queen e7, but now is an opportunity to develop either your bishop or your knight. Knights always go first, so there's nothing black can do. If you think they can sacrifice their knight so that if you take, they then pin your knight, well, in this position, you can just take with your queen, and that was just a free piece. So they can't do that. They'll most probably castle short, after which you can go bishop e3, as I said. Sometimes bishop d2 also works. Say rook e8, what else can they do? Now there's too much pressure on your pawn, so you develop your last squad bishop while defending it. And that's it. Say bishop g4, You see, there are so many ways to kill a rat. By the way, if you want to add a fourth defender to this pawn, you can even play knight d2, since this is just an opening phase. But these are rare opportunities where I might even consider castling long, but maybe first forcing black to open up the king side like this, so that on the next move I castle long and bring my heir rook to g1 and start attacking. Note that this is not even a gambit, it's just an eco game where the best tactician must go on to win. Let's go back. Another variation of this may go as follows. After pawn takes, you take. Well, first let's say this time black starts with bishop d6 to stop pawn to e5 anyways. Again, you can go knight c3 or knight f3, it all depends on your plan. By the way, moves like pawn to b5 should never scare you. In this case, instead of playing queen c2, you even have a better move such as queen d4, eyeing that, or something like that. And here you even put your queen on e3, play bishop d2, bishop d3, and life is just simple. So let's ignore that for now. Say black plays knight f6. Again, I can do whatever I want here. I love starting with knights for some reason. Okay, let's just say this time black plays pawn to b5. We go queen c2, defending that. b4, this is what you will see most humans doing. Now we have an opportunity to relocate our queen's knight to the king side as we do in the Nimzo-Wish defense. So we go knight e2, or sometimes we can even play pawn to e5. Right in this position, all up to our plan. Knight f4 is also playable. Let me just show you what happens after pawn e5. Black may take your e5 pawn, then you take, and after pawn takes, you take with your queen or your pawn, or just go bishop c4 first to threaten that. So that's alternative number one. I don't want you to memorize moves. Again, after e5, they may start with pawn takes c3, after which it is important that you take the bishop, not the knight. Now, if they take like this, you play this in the style of the Danish. Remember what you do in the Danish? They might take your pawn on d6, but this is only dangerous. You already know what we do in the Danish. Here you can even go rook d1. If queen b4 check or anything like that, you go bishop c3. If queen e7 check, just an example, you have bishop e2. And on the next move, you're going to castle short. One thing I love about my system, Kaspa system, is that it makes the French defense not to look like the French, if you understand what I'm talking about. Where is the pawn on e6, which French players enjoy the most? It's not present. Let's look at the last possibility that black can try against this so-called Kaspa's anti-French system. Let's just say that black delays to capture on e4. What if they play non-committal moves like bishop d6 first, or even knight f6? It doesn't even matter. Again, there's no need for us to rush for anything. We can continue with our plan. We'll not be harmed. So I can go knight f3 in this position. Worse off, if black plays knight f6, I can even push pawn to e5. That's if I want. Queen e7, d4. The only problem with this is it kind of takes us back to the French. See that black has not pushed pawn to c5 yet. For example, bishop b4 check, knight c3, and black has all the time to rescue their knight. Here you can play queen c2, by the way, but we're kind of still in the French. This is still okay. You can play this if you want, but again, there's no need to push pawn to e5. We can just continue playing our system, e.g. after knight f6, you can even go bishop e2 if castle short. By the way, bishop e2 makes it possible for you to trap or fork these two pieces. I mean, in this position, black is just dead. There is no two ways about it. One piece is dead. So this is how tricky the bishop e2 move is. Remember this little trap to win these minor pieces. Going back, if black plays something like queen e7 first, stopping this fork, this is when you can go knight c3 as if you want. Again, let's say black continues to delay the capture on e4, and let's say they just castle short this time. You can also do the same. Let's say they go h6, stopping bishop g5. Again, this is when you can go bishop d2 or bishop e3, knowing that your e4 pawn is protected twice. If something like pawn to b5, you have queen c2, still protecting your pawn on e4. Or if pawn to b4 now, you can still go knight f4 in this position. Black may think they can now win your pawn for free, but after this, let's say queen takes. That only helps you to develop your last squad bishop. And look at the eval bar, still on the middle, and Stockfish gives a slight advantage to white. Despite being down a pawn, these pawns are weaknesses. Black can't develop their queen's knight without losing this pawn. That's what Stockfish means. Say queen back to e7, we even have moves like bishop d4. So we are way ahead in development, and we should go on to win the game. Bishop g4, rook f e1, queen that, bishop takes. I can go on and on covering my opening setup against the French, but I'll leave you with this for today, because I'm not even sure if people are going to watch this video. I mean, nowadays, a lot of my viewers are not supporting this channel by watching more. So I'm just doing this for the love I have for you, my small, dedicated viewers. People like scandals, you know. People love meme chess, scandals, recaps, etc. So I just sacrifice myself to give you these quality lessons that will help you improve your chess, like seriously, and not even getting paid anything reasonable. I literally get nothing due to my low viewership. At the end of the day, we just do what we love, teaching people that want to improve our chess. And so you can sacrifice, do the same by sharing this video if you care, and also support Kaspa Chess by getting my courses at www.kaspachess.com. Also getting my fintech apps at kaspatech.com, such as the email marketing app, cashbook app, and the new POS system for retailers and shop owners who want to record sales and invoice customers. Now check this out, you guys. If you want to learn more about these kinds of tricks or similar opening ideas like the ones I just shared, you can watch this video that has popped up on the top left. Another video that I highly recommend you check out to skyrocket your rating is this one that has popped up on the top right. But if you love Gambit videos, you can check out the video that has popped up on the bottom left. And if you are a lover of chess traps like myself, feel free to click on the video that has popped up on the bottom right.